It will get better. And then you will become a second year and hate your life. But then after, you'll finish second year and then it'll get better again. Trust me, it's my first day as a third year and things are already better, so. Actually, it doesn't get better. Third year is equally as stressful, if not more. So it never gets better, but you just get used to it. So, on to the personal section. One, this is so important. You have to keep your relationships up with your family or your outside friends, because at the end of the day, they're what keeps you going, you know? Don't get me wrong, you definitely need that friend at school to vent to, you need the friend to like do things together with. You need your community here, right? You can't do this alone. But at the same time, school is really this like little pressure cooker of stress, and you need those people outside of the school bubble to tell you like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. You making this wax tooth is really not that big of a deal. My second best personal tip I already touched on, but really try to say yes and push yourself to do things that you normally wouldn't. Just because you like really never know what kind of friends or experiences that you'll make out of it, and it's always worth it. So like if you're, you know, at school and a random group at the end of like your first day is like, hey, we're gonna go out and get drinks at this place, do you want to come? Even though it might seem scary, even if you like look at that group and you don't really know anyone in that group, just like say yes and just try it out, because you never know. Like sometimes these people end up being like your best of friends. But along the same line, if you meet people and you know you feel like you're not completely vibing with them, maybe like they're not right for you, don't force yourself to be friends with people, because you will find the right people for you. So like don't rush into it and cling on it and be like, they were my friends the first week of school, they have to be my friends for the rest of dental school. Friend groups change, people change, and like not everyone is gonna be your best friend. It's just like not how things work. So it's totally okay if you come to dental school and you feel like the first friend group that you make that like maybe they're actually not the right ones for you. At the end of the day, dental school is hard enough, so you want to be with people that you feel like you can be yourself around and that you feel supported with and that you feel good with. Good friends are really important. Okay, my next tip is that when you first move to a new place, it's going to feel like you're so go all the time, and you're gonna be so on with the adrenaline that like you might not realize how tired you really are. So in the beginning of dental school, make sure that you're making time for yourself to, you know, do that self-care. And self-care looks different for different people. Some people it means going to the gym. Some people it means, you know, like self-care, getting your nails done, that kind of stuff. Just be okay with being alone with yourself too, and getting that recharge and getting that rest, because you kind of forget how, not traumatic, but how stressful starting out a new program like this will be. And last but not least, rest and giving yourself grace are two of like the hardest things for us as dental students to kind of accept, because I feel like in order to get this far, at least, it felt like we had to be like hustler mentality, like go. And the thing that I really realized in dental school is that rest is productive. Don't feel bad for like taking a day off of studying. Don't feel bad for like saying no to plans to stay in so that you can rest after a stressful week. You're your biggest priority, and you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. If you give yourself rest and you're fully recharged, then when you do finally study or you do finally things, then you can really give it your all and study efficiently and study well. Now I'm getting to the portion of the video where I'm gonna answer your questions and answers that you guys submitted to my Instagram page. Okay, so question number 1, you guys asked, what would you have done differently going into dental school? Now, I don't know if I would have necessarily done anything different, because I feel like I did a lot of the tips that I just told you guys and it worked out. But one thing that I definitely would have done in the beginning is I would have just been more confident in myself, because I fell victim to the imposter syndrome a lot. I remember feeling so shaky and intimidated by people in my class, because I would hear like, oh, they studied for this many hours today, or like, oh, they were in anatomy lab or practicing their hand skills for this many hours today. And I'd be like, oh my god, like I only did like this much time and this much time, like that probably means that I'm not gonna be as good as them. A, I really didn't have to compare myself to them, because like I said before, don't compare yourself. But B, everyone kind of works differently. I always say that in dental school, everyone has a different like weakness or Achilles heel. Some people's weakness is school, other people's weakness is hand skills, and you know, it's kind of a juggling act. So you have to realize that you're on your own path. You know, Susie over here might need to study for 4 hours, but you know, maybe you're okay only studying for like 1 hour. And like Brad over there only needs to like practice his preps once, but like maybe you need to practice multiple times before you feel confident. You cannot really look at the people around you and let yourself feel some type of way depending on what they did, because it's really, what they did has really no effect on you. Is your future patient really going to care if some other dentist did this many things or did that many things? No. They're really only gonna care that you're competent and that you're good at what you're doing. So just worry about you, boo, and do not let other people shake you. You guys also asked, how do you work through burnout? So I think this really depends on specifically you and who you are and how you rest and rejuvenate yourself, like I said earlier. But personally for me, how I get through burnout is, one, friends and family. When I'm feeling really like stressed out or overwhelmed with school, what I do is, number one, I talk to my friends that are classmates, because they understand everything more than anyone else in the world is going to. They understand like everything that you're going through right now. So to have those friends say like, hey, I've been feeling the same way, or like, hey, I heard it helps if you do this, that means a lot. But two, I also talk to my friends and family outside, like I said, outside of that bubble, because they really like calm me down and talk me down off the cliff where I'm like, oh my god, everything's terrible and I'm the worst and blah blah blah. And another thing that I do to fight burnout is, I realized this year, especially since second year was so stressful, that you have to take responsibility for your happiness. I heard this quote that happiness may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility. Oh, along the same lines, I recently made a reel on Instagram, and the quote that I kind of went with is that if you're not happy with where you are now, you won't be happy with where you're going. And that was really applicable to this year, because it was like so hard. There were so many late nights of studying. I'm sure when you guys start dental school, you'll feel like it's really difficult, right? You just have to learn how to find the good in the now, because trust me, life will never get easier. It's never gonna get like instantly more convenient, instantly better, whatever. It's always gonna be just like you, your mind, and how you process reality. You have to learn how to find your happiness in that reality wherever you're planted. Let me give you an example of how I did that. So my second year, part of the reason why it was so stressful and so frankly depressing is because you were always at school for lab, you were always studying, blah blah blah, but normally you would have a weekend like Saturday or Sunday. In dental school, you don't have weekends, okay? Well, at least not first and second year. So every single like Saturday or Sunday, I would have to go to the lab and catch up on projects from during the week. I would have to practice for competencies. It was such a drag, and in the beginning I was kind of like, like what's the point? Like I feel like I'm on this endless cycle of working hard, because it's like all I do is go to school. Like I felt really sad about it. But as the year progressed, me and my friend Gigi just realized like we can't live like this. Like we have to find happiness in what we do. So we started working into our routine that like on the weekends when we went on like a Saturday or something, we would go to lab from like 9 to like, I don't know, like 11 a.m., 12 a.m., whenever we had to do, finish our work for the day, get that checked off, and then to reward ourselves, we would do something that we love to do together, which is go to the farmer's market, look at new produce and fruits and vegetables, and like, see what deals we can get. And that like really changed our lives. Like I feel like there was life like before the farmer's market and then after. Like it really just changed the whole vibe, because suddenly we had something to look forward to. We had life that existed outside of our little bubble, and it just really made the weekends so much better. And so those are little things I'm talking about. Like you don't have to go on some extravagant trip, you don't have to spend tons of money, just find little ways to make yourself happy and really cling on to that. We also did this thing where whenever we had like really long days of school, it would be from like 8 a.m. until like 7 p.m. that in between we would plan a fun meal. So we would like both like maybe like bake cookies the night before and bring that to lunch, or like have like a potluck like lunch, like do a new recipe. Like there was always like something kind of exciting that we tried to make about like in between that long day, and that would honestly like get us through. Okay, question 3 you guys asked me was, what type of desk chair or size desk do you have at home? Okay, I gotta be honest with you guys, living in the city is kind of expensive, and I'm kind of like a broke dental student, so I actually don't have a desk at home. I study on my couch, I study at my kitchen island, I study in coffee shops, I study in my bed, I study at school. I kind of just study wherever. And so that's something I'm talking about, where like you guys can save money. If you feel like you don't need a desk at home, then by all means like save the money and space and just study at your kitchen table. I know some of you guys out there also prefer having like a desk in an area to really like claim as your workspace, and that's totally okay too, but personally I'm sorry, I don't have a desk. 4, how to make the most of Boston on a student budget. So I'm gonna keep this brief for you guys, because I don't know how many of you guys are going to dental school in Boston, but I promise you guys I will also make a reel or Instagram post about this on my page. But how I really save in Boston on a student budget is, 1, take the T and public transportation, because we get a student discount that's like really good. So use public transportation. And then also my best tip for saving money in Boston is that I think it's best if you grocery shop at multiple places. I know this sounds like a hassle, and half the time I didn't even do this too, so trust me, I understand. But there's a lot of really expensive stores in the city. There's like Whole Foods and there's like Roche Brothers. So what I would do is instead I would save money by buying my fruits and vegetables at the farmer's market, because they would be like astronomically cheaper. Like I could get things at the farmer's market for $1 that would cost me like $6 at the store. And then I used to Instacart groceries from this cheap grocery store called Market Basket. That would be good for like other things that you need, like eggs and meat and stuff like that. And then I would go to Trader Joe's to get my snacks, because they have pretty cheap, like exciting snacks. And so yeah, shopping around, going to like one place for fruits and produce, one place for meat, one place for snacks is really good, because then you ultimately get the best deal. And as I've lived here, I found there's a lot of fun free things you can do too. Like me and my friends would like walk to the Esplanade, which is this like river dock kind of thing, and we would hang out there and look at the sunset, or we would go to a friend's rooftop pool. And I mean, unless you live there, then that's for free. So yeah, really like make a commitment with your friends to find like things to do for free, even if it's just like walking around and enjoying the city. Question number 5, do people actually use iPads and Apple Pencils, or is it just a flex? I really enjoyed this question. I thought it was funny. You know, in the beginning of dental school, I was like, this is such a flex. Like no one needs an iPad. Like why do you need an iPad and a pencil? You're just flexing. But no, like I said earlier, I actually think my iPad's really helpful. Activities to help manual dexterity going into dental school. So props to you guys for thinking this far ahead, because I know I wasn't. I just want to preface this by saying that you absolutely do not have to worry about that before while you're a pre-den, because honestly, like dental school is the part where you're working on manual dexterity. So don't feel overwhelmed and don't feel like you're behind if you don't do these things. These are just like bonuses. In dental school, I feel like you work with wax a lot, and I didn't know that. And so like if you have experience working with wax and like heating wax, melting wax, and then shaping wax, that's probably gonna get you far. Also, if you work with nails and do anything with like acrylic stuff, like plastic stuff, or like using the drills that they use for nails, that's really good too. I know one of my friends is actually like a nail technician in dental school, or she used to be. I think that would get you pretty far, honestly. And besides that, I think they do have like kits that you can buy to practice like drilling and that kind of stuff, but I think they are expensive, so definitely don't get them if you feel like you really don't want them. If you want them just for fun, then I guess you could, but yeah, don't feel like you have to. Okay, and question number 7. First day of dental school, what should you bring? So this is what I personally brought. So I brought a pen and a notebook, or I guess you could bring an iPad and an Apple Pencil. Controversial. 2, I brought a granola bar, you know, like a non-perishable, like little portable snack. 3, I brought my little compact mirror and lash glue, because, I mean, that's just who I am. 4, shoes that you feel confident. And I say this because people always say like, oh, wear like comfy shoes, right? But honestly, my comfy shoes like aren't that cute, and I didn't feel that confident in them. So in hindsight, I say wear whatever makes you feel confident. If you feel the most confident in comfy shoes, then wear those. But if you feel confident in cute fire shoes, like maybe some like heels or something, like just be confident. If that would make you feel better, then go for that. Don't feel like you have to do like what everybody else says they're doing. I guess that kind of negates like the whole purpose of this video, because I'm giving you my tips, but I don't know, just you do you, boo. This is another thing that like I didn't do for dental school, but I used to do this in my orientation leader days. Was one of the icebreakers I would do is I would make people like pull up a picture that you like on your phone, like on your camera roll, and share a little about it. And so this kind of like is handy when you start dental school, because in the beginning it's a lot of just like icebreakers, getting to know people. It's kind of a lot of like socializing. So if you have a picture handy of like your cute puppy at home, or like a cool mountain you climbed, or something you recently painted, I don't know, just have something that you can show and be a conversation starter. I feel like that'll get you pretty far. I was an orientation leader for like dental students also this year, and I feel like that was the best way to get people to bond, is to just like show each other pictures and like that kind of stuff. So also great way to plug your Instagram page, just saying. Other than that, you really don't do much your first days besides just like talk and socialize, like I said. So don't feel like you have to have everything ready like for the first day either. Okay, that I think was a long video. I'm not sure, we'll see once I edit this. But I hope that that answered a lot of your questions, and I really hope that this video made you guys feel better, because if anything, I want this video to show you guys that you don't, like the answer to what you should bring, do, and like buy before dental school is you don't need the most expensive thing. You don't need the newest thing. You don't need really anything. You just need to like be confident in yourself and bring yourself, and at the end of the day, just put your best foot forward. And trust me, like even if the beginning feels overwhelming and stressful and scary, I promise you that it will get better. and then you will become a second year and hate your life. But then after, you'll finish second year and then it'll get better again. Trust me, it's my first day as a third year and things are already better, so. Actually, it doesn't get better. Third year is equally as stressful, if not more. So it never gets better, but you just get used to it. Yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to reach out if you have any more questions, leave them down below and I can answer, or maybe I can make a whole separate video if you guys have a ton more questions. Again, follow on my Instagram page to see what I'm up to in my daily, you know, dental school vlogs and that kind of stuff. And I'll see you guys later.